Those that are awake won't go back to sleep again. Those that are still asleep can only wake up. And once that happens, once there's a critical mass of people who are awake, then this all ends, and a much better world begins. So what the purpose of this video is, well, a few ideas maybe about what we could do to try to wake up the people who are still sleeping. I think one thing that doesn't work with these people is facts and logic. So you could try to explain to a believer that this illness kills 82-year-olds. More than 99% of people survive it. That children don't need the arm spears because they're not at risk of this disease, and it will just get nowhere, because what you're doing is running up against people who are sort of in a trance. Basically, they've been put into a fear state by all of the constant non-stop propaganda. These are the people that get their news solely from the BBC, Radio 4, Sky News, LBC, and they're just fed this diet 24/7 of fear porn, and that's put them in this kind of state of anxiety where, literally they've been brainwashed and put into a trance. So if we're to get anywhere, we've got to get them out of this trance-like state that they've been put in through the fear. So I've done some research about this, and apparently what you've got to do is to break a trance. You need to switch that person's focus of attention, in this case away from Divock 91 to something else. So I've got two ideas about what those something else could be. The first one would be, I guess, totalitarianism. Sadly, I don't think there's probably not that many people that actually understand what totalitarianism is, or not enough do. It's basically total control by the state over every aspect of private life. So, how can you raise concern over that? Well, I guess you could start off with something. It depends on the person, I guess, but you could ask somebody, well, something provocative like, do you remember when arm spear passports were a conspiracy theory? Hopefully they might remember when they were calling other people conspiracy theorists, when they were being told that these this medical apartheid passport digital ID system was going to be coming in, and they dismissed it at the time. So another tactic that you could use, I guess, is to feed them some other predictions. And when these predictions inevitably come true, they might then think and remember the conversation, and then that might shake them out of this kind of trance, this state of fear. So what sort of things could you prophesize? Well, I guess one is just economic collapse. That the economy, you can tell these people that the economy will collapse, millions of people will be unemployed, there'll be hyperinflation, there'll be bank failures, there will be bank bail-ins, so you can explain what that is. So it's a situation where banks seize depositors' cash and use that cash to recover the bank's losses, and in exchange, the retail bank customers get shares in the bank that, for all intents and purposes, is bust. So I suppose you could segue neatly onto the next prediction, which is central bank digital currencies. So this is your kind of problem, reaction, solution scenario. So a new currency will be needed once the hyperinflation has wiped out all the debts. Actually, incidentally, another thing you can say to them is, this going to be mass repossessions. There's a lot of people who are going to end up renting their house from their current mortgage provider, because they'll just do a debt for equity swap. They'll say to the homeowner, the person with the mortgage to be more accurate, look, we'll let you stay in this house for a while, provided that social credit scores up to scratch. Um, but you've got to hand over the equity, all of it, in your property over to us, the bank, and in return we'll wipe away the debt. That will definitely happen. Something else that you could do is obviously explain to them that central bank digital currencies are coming. I've already done a video on that, but you can just explain to them what the implications of that will be. So everyone will have a digital bank account with the Bank of England. There'll be no more commercial banks for any intent and purposes. And the state, via the central bank, will have total control over your expenditure, what you are and are not allowed to spend your money on. The state, there'll be no privacy. The state will know where every single digital pound is at any one point in time, who spent it, what it was spent on, what time it was spent, etc. And this will be used as a social control mechanism, along with the digital IDs, which are basically the arms spear passports. And if you're a bad person and you say nasty things to MPs or you criticise the government, then your social credit score will be downgraded, and you might not be able to travel. Your transaction will be declined at the point of sale, or you might not be able to buy booze, or if you're obese, the government might say, well, you're going to have to go on a diet and we're only going to allow you to buy salad, until you've lost 4 kilos. And you've got to wear this wearable technology so that we know what your weight is, we know what the state of your bloods are, how much cholesterol is in your blood, real time through smart technology. So that's another thing you could tell them. Oh yeah, another good one, of course, is make a prediction that COVID will be defeated, but a new virus will come along, and it will be called Marburg's. And the symptoms of Marburg's will be suspiciously like the symptoms of the side effects of the mRNA arm spears. So we're talking here about blood clots all over the place, strokes, heart attacks, that sort of thing. So, and the government will at that point try to roll out more mandatory vaccination for the Marburgs. Also, explain to them that people that haven't had the COVID arm spear, they won't be getting Marburgs. So just watch out for that. Also, explain to them as well, watch out this winter time. Ignore really the official figures. Just look at anecdotals. Look at the people that you know that have resisted the arm spear, and look at their health, and then compare it against the people that have had the arm spears, who are suffering from, I don't know, the worst cold ever, or some mysterious new virus, whatever. I think it will be Marburg's that they will use. Boris Johnson's dad, coincidentally, wrote a book about Marburg's virus back in the 1980s. Another prediction that you can make to these people, so when it happens, maybe they start thinking and wake up, is that these injections will never stop. If you take the booster to keep your arm spear passport, that won't be it. You'll need to take a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, a 7th, an 8th. Your body will belong to the state. If you want to keep your arm spear passport, you will need to consent to having absolutely anything that the government wills to have put into your body. And if you refuse, then your arm spear passport will be taken away. Your access to your own money, your central bank digital wallet will be switched off, and you won't be able to purchase anything. I guess also as well, tell them, I suppose this isn't really a conspiracy theory anymore because it's already happening, that those that refuse the arm spear will be prevented from earning a living. They won't be able to sell their labour. Maybe if you're talking to somebody who's has read the Bible, you could maybe obviously make the link to the Book of Revelation and the Mark of the Beast, because this is basically what it is. It's the beast system being unrolled. Also explain to them as well that another prediction that will happen is that the arm spear passport, it's currently on a smartphone, That won't last very long at all, because there'll be some sort of scandal about how people are faking arms spear passports. And so in the near future, what will happen is that you will be asked to uh, insert various medical devices into your body, or maybe attached to the surface of your body on your right hand or on your forehead, that will be used to deliver the arm spear. And to buy or sell, you'll need to scan your right arm. You'll literally be barcoded. There's already a patent that's been issued by Bill Gates for this technology, under the patent number 606060. So another one of these like 666 coincidences. I guess another thing that you could sort of say to them is, terrible things have happened in human history in the past. Why do you think that terrible things can't happen now? Just because that you're living in 2021, why do you discount the possibility that governments might turn against their people and commit crimes against humanity? It's already happening in China. So I guess what it is that just people can't afford, they're just too afraid. They can't look at the truth because it just scares them to death. But I guess what we've got to do is just ask them questions and also show them a lot of humanity and compassion, and just try to gently, really gently and subtly wake them up by asking them questions and by making these predictions, so that when these predictions come true, they might go, ooh, hang on a minute, I remember that conversation that I had with that crazy conspiracy theorist, Nigel Watson. He said that, and he said that he's got this right on four, 5 times. Maybe there's something in it. I guess the last thing that you can do really to wake people up is to sort of question the safety of the arm spear, and do this in a very, very subtle way. Like, well, there's an awful lot of kids now who are suffering from heart attacks and myocarditis. Oh, isn't that strange? It couldn't be the arm spear, could it? Oh, I'm sure it couldn't be, because the government has always got our best interests at heart. And, these arm spears, they were really rigorously tested, Like, normally it takes 10 years or so to develop a new arm spear. And this one was in people's arms in less than 12 months. So, but that still doesn't mean it wasn't tested properly. I'm sure they did test it. What else? Yeah, and I guess also you can sort of explain to people that there's a lot of people who they'll know who've been ill after the double arm spear. With adults, heart attacks, people suffering from Divot 91, even after they've been double or triple jabbed. Okay, I'm by the lake today. There was some person that went past there. I was a bit. He didn't try to crash the show, but I was a bit embarrassed. Yeah, so it's very still today. It's believe it or not, it's 3 degrees. So, and it was actually below freezing. We actually had our first proper frost. But it doesn't feel cold at all, because there's absolutely no wind. It's perfectly still. Okay, God bless you. And I think the last thing that I need to do really is to say is, like, we've got to do this carefully and with a lot of compassion and love. And we've got to try and save as many of these people as we can by trying to wake them up. Okay, God bless.